You want to talk about prisoners? I know people who are in prisoners who are free.
If the man didn't commit the crime, why is he in prison?
That justice for all falls short behind because doesn't happen.
Their minds are free, their consciences are free, their hearts are free.
The murder of Lee Wells occurred at 116 South Mark Street. He was involved in a brawl with 15 other men that resulted in his ultimate demise. Above is where the superintendent's wife witnessed the murder and claimed that Mr. Ebanks did not, in fact, stab the victim. We're here today to document exactly where this was and how it occurred, and also the improvement of the neighborhood to this day.
I am Dr. Francisco Hall, and I'm the president of Sharon Productions Incorporated.
Tompkins Square Park in the mid-'80s, very dangerous, kind of seedy, kind of intimidating and scary place. Lots of murders, muggings, robberies, you name it.
Tompkins Park, let's say the mid-1980s.
Yes.
I was around.
Gotcha.
Okay? I'm 67 years old. I was around.
You don't look it.
And thank you, sir. And while all of that was going around, there were some positive things in that community brewing. Some of the best chess players around used to congregate there to play chess.
Wow.
And some of the greatest chess minds came out of that area. Now, along with that positive aspect of a game called chess, there were other things and community actions came out of there.
How long have you been a resident?
30 years.
So you have some knowledge about what this park
Yes.
used to look like.
Yes.
In the 1990s, it was pretty bad.
Giuliani sent 1,500 troops and an armed assault tank up my street, other than 13th Street, to clear out the heroin that were in the 5 houses on B and 13.
Horrible, horrible, devastating. We were coming out of a period where our whole entire community had been burned down. The drug epidemic was horrific. A lot of young men, young women from good backgrounds fell into that kind of stuff.
Lifestyle.
Well, yes. It was horrible.
Based on the transformation of this park, and really the city overall, do you find or do you feel that humans individually have the ability to be rehabilitated, similar to the city?
Anybody?
Of course you could be rehabilitated, but you have to want to change. You as an individual, you understand?
Yes.
The person that is committing the crime or whatever the person is doing, that person has to want to change.
Put in the
him.
work.
Yeah, you have to do the work. You have to want to change. It's within you.
And so yeah, I think I'd say yes. Maybe not like a 100% full-on yes, but a hopeful and optimistic yes.
Well, personally, I was a heroin addict for 10 years.
Okay.
And went to jail a few times and was busted numerous times until, starting from 13 until my late 20s. And got myself into a program after several attempts, changed my life. And I'm here now going to graduate school in New York. But I know I'm like of the program 1% who has been able to do that.
Well, sure, anybody can be rehabilitated if they put their mind to it.
So it's really the person's individual desires that we're
Sure,
saying.
I feel that way, sure.
And how do you feel about life sentences or long-term sentences with regard to certain crimes? Do you feel that sometimes defendants can be rehabilitated in our current prison system, or do you find that it's more difficult?
I don't know much about the rehabilitation sector.
Long-term consequences are long-term.
Would it surprise you that right behind this beautiful new park for the children, that there was a fight between about 15 men and one of them was stabbed and killed? Would that surprise you at all?
In this neighborhood back when? No.
And I'm sure this won't surprise you, but right outside of the gate on the other side of the playground, there was a murder here that took place in 1991. It was a fight with a bunch of men. There were 15 men. One of the men was stabbed and killed. There were multiple eyewitnesses that said that the particular person that was accused of doing it did not do it, did not stab the man. He maintained his innocence even though he was offered a plea deal of only a couple of years. He was still convicted. He spent about 22 years in jail and has done every program the prison allows in order to obtain parole. Unfortunately, because he will not admit guilt, because he did not do it, the parole board has refused to let him go, even though he's completed every possible program and he's attempted to rehabilitate himself without admitting guilt. Do you feel that that is fair under the system, or do you feel that people should have to go through those steps?
If the man didn't commit the crime, why is he in prison?
That justice for all falls short behind because doesn't happen.
Have to be a case-by-case thing, I guess, for what you're explaining me, which I don't know about the case. Sounds to me like wrongfully convicted.
And
I mean, certainly it's a case-by-case thing, right?
right. And
Two witnesses even testified to them that said that he did not do this. And
someone else had, but
So really, it's not a matter of rehabilitation. He's just maintaining his innocence. I like that.
would it surprise you that maybe we have 2 or 3 witnesses come forward that identify someone else who have stabbed someone, and a jury still convicted the young man of murder? Would that surprise you?
That would not surprise me whatsoever.
Why do you say that? Was it the attitude in the city during that time?
I don't think it's the attitude. I think it's the rush to judgment without truly paying attention to justice for all, which is constitutional. It's that justice for all falls short behind because doesn't happen.
So based upon the amount of murders that happened in this particular area of the city, which was, would you say, pretty regularly?
Here in the 90s and the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very regular.
Oh yeah.
Would it be surprising at all for you if someone might have gotten swept through the system and possibly during that time when there was so much crime, would that have been a surprise to you?
Well, worse than that, there was dirty cops. They have a dirty cop out there right now that they're bringing up all the cases and they're letting guys out. There's a dirty detective who's in the paper once a week that they have to let people out.
Do you
So
find
that is in cause of itself was a bigger problem.
You mentioned that you were also you're a retired corrections officer.
Right.
In your experience, do you feel that a prisoner can change for the better?
Let's understand something here about prisoners. Every day that we go to work as correction officers, we're the only peace officers on planet Earth who check our guns, put it in a vault, and barehandedly go in to a prison atmosphere. We have to use skills other than a gun, a club, or such like. So you get to know people, you get to deal with people, and you get to understand the atmosphere. And the biggest weapon you have, really, is your mouth. And your words produce your world.
Yes.
Scott has been using positive words, as I understand it, and it has produced an opportunity, and it has rallied us to come to his aid. Now, you want to talk about prisoners? I know people who are in prisons who are free. Their minds are free, their consciences are free, their hearts are free. Conversely, I know people out here in the street who are imprisoned, a whole bunch of stuff.
True.
A whole bunch of circumstances.
True.
Okay, so it's a relative thing. But as long as those bars are up in front of Scotty, he cannot really be a catalyst for this community. So we need to free him out of there.
And in your humble opinion, if Scott was, God willing, given a second chance, an opportunity to, contribute positively to the community, you feel he will?
Yes, and realize this, based on the reports that are coming back, he's already doing that, only being out here.
Absolutely.
He would have a better opportunity to fast forward his efforts that are in there now. He could do more things out here than he can in there.